maybe we can talk about like sleep while we're at it. Like caffeine and sleep. So you said you're trying to quit caffeine recently.
Yeah. And it's something I've been trying to do for a long time. I read, my fiance and me, we read this book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Maybe
Yeah.
you've heard about it. It's been.
Oh, I was actually guessing you had read that book.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? I was actually thinking that last night
Yeah.
because you went to bed around 10-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I read that book, I started doing that too.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. You know,
like
it's one of the, I think it's one of the pillars also of happiness is just to have a regular sleep schedule. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna for sure gonna get a little bit screwed up once I have children. You know, it's like then that's gonna fly out the window, of course. But until then, you know, just to, it's something I really like. I'm pretty hard with myself on, you know, to go to sleep and get up around the same time, you know,
yeah.
because it creates like a sense of stability. You know, we live in a crazy world right now with a lot of things happening, like a lot of pressure on ourselves, like kind of confusing also, you know, like here right now living abroad.
Very confusing.
Sorry?
Very confusing.
Yeah, for sure, super confusing, you know, because we kind of lack this, as I said, the social context, you know, like we have to create maybe a new social context for ourselves. But yeah, so I think just that really does like it really like helps us a long way. I think just to have this sense of stability in our lives, you know, to go to bed at the same time, go up at the same time. It's also something, you know, from my own experience in the psychiatry. It's the first thing that we try to stabilize. It's just the sleep, you know. To get the person to sleep at regular hours, you know, because it's like you kind of lack any sort of foundation if you're in this chaotic cycle, you know. So if your circadian rhythm is not being honored, you know.
Yes.
For sure. And also, you know, just to keep in mind that coffee has like a half life of
6 hours.
6 hours, you know, which means that like
caffeine, we should say.
Yeah, caffeine. Yeah, 137 3-methylxanthine.
Yeah, which is in Coca-Cola and other sodas too. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's also something I kind of forgot about yesterday because I had a food poisoning recently. And got my flatmate. I normally don't drink Coca-Cola, but she gifted me like a big bottle, you know, after I had some GI problems. And I kind of was thirsty yesterday and took a big gulp of Coke, you know, yesterday evening, you know. And then like I was laying in bed, I was really tired, you know, like when we talked yesterday, I was really tired and I just wanted to go to sleep. And then I couldn't, you know, and I was wondering what happened, you know. And it's like, yeah, I just drugged myself with caffeine from the Coke, you know. And it's like yeah, and just like I said, also just to have like that in mind that a half-life is 6 hours. So it's like if you drink a cup of coffee now, like around 12, you know, you will have a substantial part of that will still be in your system when you go to sleep, you know.
It's like the way I try to tell my parents and siblings, it's like, okay, so because they're always drinking coffee after dinner,
Right.
like, you retards, stop. Like, if they're drinking 2 cups of coffee after dinner, let's say they eat dinner at 7, that means in 6 hours, which would be 10, like 1 o'clock at night, they still have 1 cup of coffee in their system.
Yeah.
And that's gonna do something to your sleep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And it's just how to say, like it disrupts, if anything, the REM sleep. You know, like the REM sleep is where you're supposed to, you know, dream and integrate, you know, like the experiences of the day and to relive them, but maybe in a safe environment, you know. Like I think trauma regulation happens a lot during the REM sleep, you know. You experience events, but you don't have the same emotional reactions to it, you know. So that kind of, I think, goes a long way just to that for sure. REM sleep plays a big part of that, you know, just categorizing and dealing with the events of the day. And if you if you're, let's say, always go to sleep like caffeinated, or if you always go to sleep with maybe nicotine in your system, or THC or alcohol or whatever it might be, like, and if you do that for a long period of time, you will become kind of crazy, because like you cannot dream, you cannot, your brain is not allowed to dream. And so at some point, like, you will start to dream in real life, it's also a big reason why, looking at in the psychiatry, for example, like sleep deficiency, like, is so harmful, because like the brain needs this, and if it cannot get it in a sleeping state, it will sooner or later get it in a waking state, so yeah, that's also something I've thought about.
Like, for people who don't know, REM is rapid eye movement.
Yeah, rapid eye movement sleep.
And that usually happens the later part of the night after the deep sleep, right?
It's like intermittent, like sleep always comes in stages. You have superficial sleep, and then deep sleep, and then REM sleep is, as you say, like, it's normally during the middle of the night, and it happens also. But also, like, as you're going to sleep and as you're waking up. So maybe you can relate to this. Like, let's say you set your alarm for 6 o'clock, but then you go to sleep. But then you go to sleep again and sleep for another hour like until 7. So then, like, you're going into REM sleep, but then you're getting woken up again by the alarm, and that's why normally you can remember your dreams more if you get up early and then go to sleep and then get up again,
Okay.
But yeah, it's something I've been thinking about recently a little bit when talking about the pathophysiology or pathogenesis of a lot of our mental disorders of today. It's just a big factor, I think, is just lack of REM sleep.
Yeah, actually, I remember reading that too. So, but it was a long time since I read the book, like Why We Sleep. But you said that it was particularly the REM sleep, not the non-REM deep sleep, that is affected by caffeine.
Also, of course, I think your sleep in general gets negatively affected by caffeine. But what I remember was just the detrimental effects it had on REM sleep. Yeah, and also, just long-term effects, of not being able to dream. It's quite, as I said, it's quite crazy, because your brain will demand it sooner or later, anyways. And if you can't, like I said, if you can't get it in a sleeping state, then when it's awake,
Yeah. So you mean that, like, you would daydream or
not necessarily daydream, but you would kind of, become, I would say,
have a brain fog or something.
Yeah, like for sure, a brain fog, and also like a depersonalization kind of thing, where you would kind of lose this intimate, maybe, touch with reality, you know what I mean? Like, you would feel more and more maybe a part of what's going on around
detached,
you. Detached, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
there's this movie, very famous one, Fight Club.
Yeah.
It kind of depicts that a little bit, because he suffers from insomnia. And he's like, am I awake or sleep? Like, something in between.
Yeah, exactly. You're always in this limbo, Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that clip of the HH podcast. If you want to see another clip, click here, down to your left. And if you want to see the whole unedited episode, click down here to your right. And last but not least, if you want to subscribe, you can do so here in the middle. Thank you.